Hi everyone, Richard here at Kelvin Wazoo with another video for you. And what I'm doing today is I'm trying to combine something for two different platforms. All right, so there's this Facebook group that I am a part of that has daily themes for topics of discussion and sharing, etc. And today's theme for that group is it's Anime Tuesday. And I thought, wow, I could also do a video here on my Calvin Wazoo channel because I have quite a bit of anime on vinyl, soundtracks on vinyl and related recordings. So yeah, that would be easier than trying to, do whatever on that Facebook channel and make this video, and then I can, it'll be on my YouTube channel and I can post it on that Facebook group. So yeah, we'll go with this because from time to time I've shown different bits of what I have in my anime collection. And but it's growing. It's not a cheap hobby because some of the recordings on vinyl are not only difficult to find, they are very expensive. So can be a costly little niche. So I've got various formats here to share, and I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible so that it doesn't take too long. And I'm going to start off with the Gundam franchise, Mobile Suit Gundam. So this is considered the progenitor of the mecha franchises. Okay, so mecha being these giant robots that somebody gets inside, and pilots. A lot of different mecha anime series, anime films, but then there are also, Pacific Rim, is a concept that developed out of this whole mecha thing. And Gundam is like the origin of all this. It began in 1979 and has continued to the present, including many series that can be found, on television or on Hulu or on Netflix, and as well as in Japan. But then there are also these OVAs, or which are like they're the animated series, but they're not. They never show up in television or in the theater, so you can buy them separately, on DVDs or something like that. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It is one of the largest netting profitable mecha series ever, including all the merchandise. I don't have any mecha toys or anything like that. I'm pretty much into the film formats and the vinyl format, and some CDs. So the whole concept of the Gundam, is, yeah, it sounds, robots fighting in space. This is like, preteen and early teenage boy stuff. But the storylines are a lot more adult and are a lot more involved. All right, so I mean, they do the robots fighting each other in space and all that kind of stuff, to appeal to that demographic. But then this storyline in here, that they're doing is really quite in depth, and for the most part, it boils down to that there are usually these two forces, sometimes three forces, that are vying for control of the solar system or whatever. It's all, in some respects, a sort of anti-capitalist message, because you've got all these powers that all they want to do is control everything so they can get richer and richer and richer. And then there are the people who are stuck in between with these wars and these battles and the suffering, that goes on. So there is this message that is going through these programs, besides just the robots fighting each other in space. And as I say, Gundam is, the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise is huge. It is just, billions of dollars in net, and it has grossed, tens of billions of dollars, and if you include all the different toys and everything else that goes with that. So Gundam is one of the first mecha series that I started watching, and then I realized that I could buy vinyl, all right? And there is a particular Japanese vendor that I order from because they tend to have, regularly have some of these available, and it's a very reliable vendor that I use. So this one here, for example, all right, this is called Gundam. It's a synthesizer fantasy. It's part of this series called the Digital Trip. So we've got, the OB strip, it's the Japanese pressing and the Columbia label. And so very, very ethereal, type of music that is associated, with that series of Gundam. Then I also have this Gundam symphonic poem, again with the OB strip. And it's really just kind of an orchestral, as it is. It's a symphonic poem. This is on, a lot of the Gundam is on the King Records label. You can see here. So this music composed by Taikyo Watanabe and Yushi Matsuyama, with Kazuhiko Komatsu conducting the New Japan Philharmonic Orchestra. Really nice orchestral piece. Then there are these other ones that I have, and there's a lot of different episodes, which I will go through, like, not episodes, but a lot of different, like, series. There are something like 50 TV series and films, and these OVAs, which are, the OVAs are animated series that do not show on TV or were never shown in the theater. So you can only buy them, like on a DVD or something like that. And then, of course, there's manga and novels and video games. I mean, it's just a huge, and then the plastic models and all that. The other thing about the anime that I really like is simply the artwork is just really fantastic. So I've got this one here. Now this is from, I think it's from Gundam 3, but of all the ones that I've gone through, I really don't find one that's called Gundam 3. But this is the voice soundtrack, so it's all in Japanese. So I don't play it very often because I don't understand it. But just beautiful, glossy records. And then what's really cool about these is the material on the inside and the artwork. Just absolutely amazing. This is part of the reason why I do collect this stuff. So that I've got that one, and another one that I have here is this one that appears to be related with that with one of the Gundam franchises. So this is another gatefold, so it's got some more of that material on the inside of the artwork. They do these other albums or records often that are sort of, they're called like impressions or things like that. There's music that is associated with individual characters, and that music may not show up in the series that was broadcast or shown in the theater. But this one here, again, with the Gundam, there's not a lot of demand for the Gundam records, and they are also, there's a lot of them because it is so popular. I mean, the demand hasn't exceeded the supply. So the prices are not that bad. But again, just amazing artwork that comes in the insides of these gatefolds. Let me open this up here a little bit. There we go. You know, just really, really great stuff. And then, oops, I don't know why that's in there, because that's certainly not Gundam related. So some other little facts about Gundam right now. Hulu, 6 of the Gundam series you can watch on Hulu. There's the Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, which I've watched. There's Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. I have not watched that series yet. Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS Team. I've watched that. Mobile Suit Gundam 00. That is one I have not yet watched. And then there's my favorite of the series, Iron-Blooded Orphans, okay? And then the one that I just finished is called Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. I have Iron-Blooded Orphans on Blu-ray. This is a fantastic series. I do not have any vinyl of soundtrack music that goes with this, but I just love this particular series. It is so in-depth, and also it has some very alternative characterizations in there. There is a same-sex romance that develops in this series. There is a polyamorous arrangement that develops within this series. And I also just really like, again, the basic premise is you've got these orphans who are basically they're slave laborers, and then there are powers that I talked about that are vying for control of the solar system, and they're caught in the middle of it, and they end up buying themselves out and creating their own enterprise. And so they end up fighting in this war, but their sole purpose is they want to go back to Mars and live there, and just be left alone. They don't want people to be messing with them. They just want to live their lives without people messing with them. But there's always these powers who are trying to control everything. So it's a really great storyline, really great series, and which is why I bought the DVDs. Now, another franchise that is really big is the Evangelion franchise. And that is another one that began in, let me double check here. I think that started in, oh geez, there's a lot of information on this page about it. Yeah. Oh, 19, well, that's the end of Evangelion. It looks like it's something that started in the 90s, all right? And Evangelion is a mecha series, but again, it's got a lot of very in-depth, almost psychological elements to it. So the idea with it is you've got, there's a lot of Christian imagery and references, because, it's called Evangelion, which are the Evas, these mechas, and it's a reference to Eve being the protector of mankind, and these angels, which are these like robots that come from space, because the humans have collected the first angel and saved it, which was called Adam, and so Eve was made from Adam. And so all these angels are trying to come to Earth and to destroy the Adam that the humans, have kept. And then there's the central character is this 14-year-old boy by the name of Shinji, who finds that he can pilot an Eva. And because this Eva has been constructed with a consciousness that will match with him, all right? And anyway, he is torn, and his father runs this whole program of the Evas. And so he's a very tormented boy, and he's torn between this desire to obtain his father's love and also to completely remove and reject his father. So he's got this conflict, and so he just kind of goes along through life just doing what he's told. He doesn't want to cause any kind of trouble. And then he feels miserable and all that. And eventually he learns that that all of our realities are created by us, okay? And if we don't like what's going on in our life, it's within our power to change our reality. And consequently, when we do that, we change how the world responds to us. And this is a very Buddhist element that is also thrown in with the Christian imagery. It's the essence of anatta in Buddhism, which means no self, as in there is no permanent self, all right? Our self is always evolving. And so we always have that ability to redirect how our self is growing. And so there's a couple soundtracks that I have for that for recent, because while there's the series, the Neon Genesis Evangelion, and then there were a couple films, The End of Evangelion, and then there was another one that's slipping my mind. And then there were a series of 4 full-length feature films. And so we've had some records come out with that. So there's this on this beautiful splatter vinyl. So this one here, Evangelion Finally. There's that with one of the major pop songs that are associated with this franchise. Then there was also this one, One Last Kiss, that came out. So this is on the clear vinyl, or translucent, actually, it's not clear. Again, so not a full soundtrack, but it's got some of the songs that are frequent in the series. And they were coming out because there was like this rebuild of the entire franchise that took decades to get completed. Began with Evangelion 1.11, which I have on Blu-ray. Very difficult to find and very expensive to find. Then there's Evangelion 2.22, all right, which is the second installment in the rebuild. And then there's 3.33, all right, which is the third one. And then the fourth one, the final one, is on Amazon Prime, and that was released last year. After like almost 2 decades of waiting, I mean, for like Evangelion 3.3, when was that released? I should have looked that up so I would know, and I wouldn't be taking so much time. But yeah, it was like a long time before they came up with a fourth and final installment. There was also a theatrical release, but you can watch it on Amazon Prime. The original soundtrack of Evangelion that's on vinyl, I mean, I would love to have a copy of it, but it's the lowest price that I've seen it for is like $600. I have seen it for sale by some vendors for as high as $900. I am never going to get it. There's just no way. I am, unless I win the lottery, because I'm not spending $600 on a record. I should start investigating to see if they will actually do a reissue. That would be great if they did that. But wow, talk about a grail to get that. Now, there's a lot of other anime records that I have collected. Most of them are with Studio Ghibli. But this one I'm going to show first, and this is from the anime series Cowboy Bebop, which I love this soundtrack. We're talking about, there's hardcore bebop, hard bop. Okay, so we've got the sort of purple lavender, and then this, which is reminiscent of the two characters, two of the primary characters, the color that is associated with them. The series itself is okay. I'm not a huge fan of the series, but I love the music. because, as I said, it's got this, there's hard bop, there's blues, it's just really, really excellent soundtrack. So there is that with the Cowboy Bebop. But the other soundtracks I mostly have are primarily with, Studio Ghibli, that I gradually pick up. This is the soundtrack for Poco Rosso, which got this here. Wonderful, wonderful film. And then one of my favorites is this one, Princess Mononoke. This is probably, a lot of people, talk about Spirited Away as being, their favorite of the Studio Ghibli, but Princess Mononoke is my favorite. Great labels with this. I just love this movie. And speaking of these, so because I do have, the DVD for Princess Mononoke, and what was the other one I just showed? I do not have Poco Rosso on DVD, but I do have My Neighbor Totoro. So there is this one here, which I believe this is not a soundtrack, but this is no, I think this is the soundtrack. There's that other release where they do the music that is a characterization of each of the individual characters that generally is not included in the feature film. But so My Neighbor Totoro, which I also have on DVD. Great film. And then, of course, I have some other Studio Ghibli. The Wind Rises is, I believe, the most recent one that his name is escaping me. Miyazaki. I think it was his last one. Hayao Miyazaki. Very cool thing. I went to, on one of my visits to Taiwan, I went to this small little town that's up on this hillside, which Miyazaki apparently used for his Spirited Away as his inspiration for Spirited Away. And I was walking down this one alley, and somebody had written his name, Miyazaki, on like graffiti on the wall. That was very cool to see that. There's the Wind Rises. Ponyo is, I have that on Blu-ray, although I do not have anything on vinyl. And then I just mentioned, Spirited Away. I have both on Blu-ray and on DVD. Another one, Castle in the Sky. My eyes are on getting the album for this. It's a reasonable price at around $50. These anime soundtracks are not cheap. Howl's Moving Castle is another great one. And then, that's it for that. Then another one you can watch on Netflix, I think it's still available on Netflix, is this one, A Silent Voice. And this is just an incredible film with some very, very excellent messages regarding bullying and socializing and being an outcast and even suicide. These are all subjects that are dealt with really, really exceptionally well. Fantastic. So A Silent Voice, you should look it up on, I believe it is still available on Netflix. And then I also, one of my series that, other series that I have watched, and I have it on CD. This is some music from the series Mushishi, and which I have watched. But seems to be a newer series. It's on Hulu that I've started watching because it's got episodes I'd never seen before. Beautiful, beautiful animation, just really lush and gorgeous. And then there's Grave of the Fireflies, which is the saddest movie ever made. Really, it is the saddest movie ever made. I really think it is. It is such a touching film. It is such a well done story. But man, it's gonna make you cry like a baby. This is a newer one. It's called Your Name. So a great anime feature film. It's kind of funny because, these two characters, the boy and the girl, the boy wakes up in the girl's body and then the girl wakes up in the boy's body. They don't know each other, but they figure out how to communicate with each other. Again, it's a really touching story. And it'll make you cry, but it's not a sad story like Grave of the Fireflies is really. And then here's another one that has a gay theme to it. It is called Run with the Wind. So I got this on Blu-ray, the entire series. I'm unaware if there's any soundtrack available for it. I haven't seen one, but there may be one. But anyway, it's a great story that does have a gay romance in it, and it's about a bunch of guys who are trying to train for the biggest marathon run in Japan, which is called the Hakone Ekiden relay. It's a relay marathon. And so it's about these guys who are training for it. It's good. It gets a little preachy at times, maybe a little too on the nose with some of the messaging. But by and large, it is really good. As a former runner, I also really, really enjoyed that. So some other animes that I have watched, I won't list them all, but recently I finished Hunter x Hunter. I could not watch the last season because it took me so long to get through the next to the last season where they're dealing with the ants. And that was really, really good. Again, so adult at times in terms of what the messaging that's going on. And Mushishi, I talked about that. Cowboy Bebop. Another one, Tokyo Ghoul, is a anime franchise that I really liked. One Piece, I've watched some of those, but man, that just goes on and on and on and on. I think it's got like 800 episodes. Another one I really liked was The Forest Piano. Fairly short, contained, especially if you like classical music, and particularly the music of Chopin, which is featured quite prominently in that. It's a very good series. Grimgar is one I enjoyed very much. The animation in Grimgar was really quite exceptional. Fairly short one. And right now I'm currently watching Mushoku Tensei. Very interesting. And what interests me is it does kind of deal with the concept of rebirth, the Buddhist concept of rebirth, because it starts off with this guy, when he dies, he's like had a miserable life, but he died saving somebody else's life. And then he's reborn in this magical realm with, magical qualities. So it's been interesting, pretty good animation in that as well. So there you go. There's my almost 30-minute video. Sorry for it to be so long, but it was a good opportunity for me to talk about. And even then, I didn't go into a whole lot of detail to show everything about these records and that. But I do love my anime, and I tend to watch more anime than I do a lot of other series that are being produced nowadays, although there are many good ones recently. So there you have it. So like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the down under if there are any other animes that you are interested in or you would like me to if I've seen them. So yeah, leave a comment in the down under. I am on Instagram as NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. So you can find me on Instagram. And as I say always, I have been adding books, and because I am talking about anime, there is a manga that is quite good. And I know the group that I am also doing this for, the Facebook group. We've talked about this before, but it's my brother's husband. Really great treatment. And this is in English. So this manga is in English. There was a series created of this, but it's Japanese. And I'm not sure of its availability here in the U.S. And there are no subtitles, I think. But yes, you can get these, and they are in English. So for those who do not read or speak Japanese. So there's my book recommendation to go with this as well. So there you have it. It's all there. And so remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.